I'm Dr. Debra Dupree, the Mindset Doc. Yes, I do claim that, the Mindset Doc, because what we have learned over the last 20 years or so is a much deeper, richer understanding of the brain, the neuroscience behind what drives our mind. And so when we think about the neurobiology, the physiology of what's going on up in our head, we can use that to our advantage. We can use that strategically then in terms of how to make shifts in how we think and how we feel. Over my 25 plus years of doing this kind of work, I continually am amazed at how little people really understand about the mind-body connection. And granted, we certainly have developed a much broader understanding of that connection. And with that have come along a lot more strategies for what we can do. And so I want to introduce you to what I call the 3 steps to mindset shift. And so what we do is we start off by doing an assessment on your emotional intelligence. And that comes out in 4 key ways: your self-awareness, your self-management, other or social awareness, and then relationship management. And so just how well do you know yourself? Where do you embody your stress? Where do you feel your anxiety? Where do you feel your anger? We tap into that through self-awareness with some cross-mapping strategies. Then self-management. As I like to say, not everything that pops in your head needs to come out of your mouth. And so that's where learning to manage those initial impulses, those reactive behaviors that can actually get us into trouble. Not everything, again, we say needs to come out of our mouth, because when we do that, we actually can say things that are hurtful, harmful, and damaging to our relationships around us, and certainly leave us feeling not very good. Then when we talk about putting all that together, then we can use those as clues into other awareness. Now that I know what I know, then how do I interpret the behavior of other people? Because it is critical that we separate the behavior that we see in others from the person themselves. We all do things, we all step into stuff, right? And that we may not be aware of the impact we're having on other people. And so it's about aligning intent with impact. And then, how do we use this information in managing the relationship with other people? It becomes particularly important in those more intimate relationships, of course, but it's also very important in our work relationships as well. So that's the emotional intelligence piece of it. Fun journey. Then we take you into an exploration of the 4 communication styles that exist worldwide. I always like to say, we're all part of the human race, right? We all have that in common. And then the first differentiator that we can probably identify is, are we male or female? Okay? And then we can go to the 4 communication styles, because they also exist worldwide and show up in every culture, every race, every religion, every geographical area. And with the communication styles, which I like to call the spice game, because after all, isn't it the spices that make food so delightful? Well, it's much like that with human behavior as well. And so by exploring more into the 4 communication styles, or the spices as I like to call them, then we actually learn about certain characteristics that show up with each spice. We can see how they communicate through statements or questions. Are they fast-paced, quick talkers, fast-taking action people, or are they people who take their time and they like to process more about what's going on? All of this is valuable information, not only in terms of understanding ourselves, but in understanding others. There's lots of behavioral clues out there if we only know what we're looking for. And then the 3rd phase, the 3rd step, is really all about our conflict management styles. And again, it's known we have 5 primary conflict management styles, and there is correlation to the communication styles, but there's some overlap in some regards. And a lot of people think that conflict is a very negative thing. In reality, conflict can actually produce some very healthy changes in our lives. It's not that conflict is bad, it's how we manage it. So learning to manage conflict becomes critically important as well. And so with all of those 3 steps, the emotional intelligence, the communication styles or the spice game, and then the conflict management styles, or what I call the animal game. What kind of animal are you show up when in conflict? And then we can put that together in actually diving deeper and using this to help craft our own personal branding statement. Who am I and how do I communicate myself to other people? That, my friends, is the journey through the 3 steps in mindset shift. Believe me, it makes an incredible difference in how we show up, how we impact, and how we influence others. So you ready to take a journey with me? It's fun and it's meaningful. Make a difference in your life, and you'll make a difference in the lives of others too.